Well, we did. We moved to Montana in the wintertime. Actually, it's been almost a year now, and it is winter in Montana, and it hasn't been so bad. We are living in our fifth wheel. The coldest it's been, it has gotten down to -7. With a wind chill, it was -23. And you know what, I can say what you need if you're gonna live in an RV in Montana in the wintertime. Propane. Lots of propane. There's our fifth wheel. And we found a new spot. This one is more semi-permanent and significantly less expensive than the RV campground we were in before. That was a great place, but it's kind of a tourist place, and we're looking to stay. We found a fellow that has a campground slash mobile home park, but as you can see, you get a lot of Montana back there. Those are the foothills for the Absaroka Mountains, which are just a few miles behind us. On the RV, met a neat guy in town that owns a propane, runs the propane place, and he loaned us this 100-pound bottle, and we have our two 30-pound bottles, and between that 160 pounds there, it'll last about, I don't know, 3 to 4 weeks, and then we have to refill it. The skirting, that was an interesting task, and what really made it happen was duct tape. So the skirting stuff itself is construction. It's a construction fabric that they use to put around roads and stuff to stop runoff, and it's a single 100-foot roll that I unrolled around the RV. The bottom of it's held down by rocks, and then right along the top edges here, Gorilla Tape. All it really needs to do is knock the wind and keep the wind from making it underneath the RV. It's a temporary solution. But this stuff, this was great. It's normally like 70 bucks. I got it on sale for $7.50. So the whole thing all the way around between the construction cloth and the duct tape, I might have $15 in that, and it works great. Said we got down on New Year's Day to -7, and we were perfectly warm inside, probably about 72, 73 degrees. We supplement the propane heater with a couple of electric heaters, small ceramic heaters. We have one in the front room and one in the back room. And then during the day, if it gets a little chilly, we've got one in the living area. And it's been pretty good so far. It's kind of a neat place. We have this whole area back here to wander around and play in. Hike around. I mean, there's nothing behind us for miles. There's a ranch back here, and we're right on one of the creeks, mountain runoff creeks. I'll walk back here and show you guys that. Another good tip, if you're coming up here from a not so cold climate like we did, because we moved up from Houston, and you're looking for clothes, don't buy your winter clothes before you get here. Get here, because any little town that you're in, you know, with a population of 1,000 or 1,500 or more, is going to have a really good thrift store. And just like if you go into a thrift store in Houston, it's full of t-shirts, tank tops, and shorts. You go into a thrift store here, it's full of jackets and sweaters and flannel lined pants. Thrift stores aren't your thing, that's fine, but this jacket I'm wearing right here, this is a Columbia Titanium. New, they're like $200 or something. It had all the compartments in it. It had the extra fleece line. I mean, it was complete with the hood and everything. $12. $12. Good to minus like 15 when you properly dress. Layers are important. When I'm walking down here, I think the creek has probably stopped running. It looks like it. I don't hear anything, but I also don't want to fall through any ice either. But gotta be careful. This is Deer Creek, and there's actually fish in Deer Creek. I've seen plenty of them, but not today. So there it is. That's the ice. So stepping on the ice now. There's probably water out there flowing underneath the ice and the snow. You just can't see it. But see there where I was breaking through. There's no water underneath me, but I don't want to go out too far. Sounds cool though. Makes you feel weird. Like you're walking around on ice and it might break, and there you go. But just more of the beauty of Montana. Clothes are one thing. You want to make sure you have the right gear. This has actually been a really mild winter. Last winter we left in October and went back to Houston to finalize the stuff with the business, and they got a record-breaking year for snow last year. This year, I think this is maybe the 4th or 5th snowfall since November. We had a good snowfall on around Christmas. We had a white Christmas. The kids loved that. So did Amanda. She was really looking forward to it. Oh, we have the man that runs the campground really keeps up trails and stuff back here for walking and kind of getting around and just enjoying it. But I can't say it's been bad dealing with the weather. You know, the one thing about snow, when it melts, it's just sloppy, wet, and muddy. You have to kind of deal with that. I want to say you want to make sure too that your vehicles are front-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, or four-wheel drive. Standard rear-wheel drive, not so great if it gets icy. Most of that these days though you only find in full-size pickups. Most of the full-size pickups I've seen around here are four-wheel drive. So that's okay. Just make sure you have the right vehicle. Make sure you have the right clothes. And like I said with the clothes, don't buy it until you get here. Now, if you move here in the winter time or a really cold time like we did, yeah, you might want to make sure you have a jacket. A couple of them that you can layer up. One of the best layerings I've found is getting a, what do you call it? Felt kind of jacket, and then a windbreaker that goes over it. You knock the wind off and the felt will help keep you pretty warm. Might not be felt, but you know that. Anyway, this is a irrigation canal that runs through back here. Runs that way into Deer Creek, and this thing was full, hence the bridge. But the fellow that owns the place, he's got a four-wheeler with tracks on it, so he moves around back here effortlessly in the snow. We heard a lot with you're gonna freeze in your RV, can't believe you're moving to Montana, you're gonna live in an RV, what are you, crazy? All that kind of stuff. And I know that people in Canada live in RVs in their winter times, so it has to be possible. You do have to do a couple of things. Put some skirting around the RV, keep the wind down. It doesn't have to be some kind of spectacular skirting either. You don't have to over-engineer it, spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. If that's your thing and you want to, go ahead. I spent 30 bucks, it works fine. Propane. So we have two 30-pound bottles that are just part of the setup with the RV. I also have two 20-pound bottles. Those are the regular ones you use for like a grill. I had two of those. I keep those filled as backups. And then the 100-pound bottles you can get at Lowe's or Home Depot or on Craigslist, get them used. There's an adapter that I bought that adapts a 100-pound bottle over to the same hose that the 30-pound bottles use, and then I bought an extension, and I'll put links to those in the description of where I got them on Amazon, and then I'll do another video that kind of shows how to adapt those bottles over, because it was super easy. And now you have a 100-pound bottle. You get two 100-pound bottles and you'll have plenty of propane. I was coming over here to see if we could get a better look at the creek, or if you're from around here, they're cricks. It's always crick. And they know that I'm not from around here because I say creek. Nonetheless, that creek is snowed over, frozen. It goes through there, and you can see some of the foothills back there. There's a road right over there, and looks beautiful. There are things to keep in mind when you're out and about. In 7 years, there have been 9 mountain lions taken from this ranch back here. I don't want to get into the politics of whether you should hunt them or you shouldn't, but in an area of about 3 miles, 9 lions. There are bears. Most of the bears that are down here are black bears. Last year, in the fall of 18, let's see, one of the ranchers not far from us lost one calf, and another one lost a sheep, lamb, from bear attacks. And there's a few nights where we can hear the wolves. We know in the Absarokas, way back here, because just on the other side of the Absaroka Mountains, about 10 miles back, is Yellowstone. Now Yellowstone's about 25 or 30 miles back that way, but to get to the foot of those mountains is about 10 miles. And you can hear them howling. No one that I know of has seen them out here, but they're there. And then the coyotes, you hear them howling too. So that's something to get used to. We have to think about, because in Texas there aren't any large animal predators. There's you know, some of you might disagree with that, but I lived there most of my life and spent a lot of time out in the wilderness, and there aren't really bears, there aren't really wolves, and there are the occasional cougar, but they're far and few between. What you have to watch out mostly as far as rattlesnakes and water moccasins, coral snakes. But here you have to mind what's going on around you. But we are not freezing to death. We haven't frozen to death, and we're not going to freeze to death. I think if we can handle a real temperature of -7 and it feels like a -23 in there, we're going to be just fine. Now the water lines, the way this park is set up is actually kind of neat. All your water lines are underneath your RV. So our sewer lines and our water hose run underneath the RV to the hookups. The spigot for the water hose is down on the ground about 2 feet. I'm going to show you what I did for our hose. You guys can criticize it all you want, but I've been in it at -7 and it didn't freeze this way. So take that into consideration, that this is real world, not you think what you could have possibly. So here's our water line. I have a heat tape in here. That's what the extension cord goes to. Heat tape runs all the way up to the top with this little bit of hose exposed, and then it's in insulation all the way down back underneath the RV. I know, looks pretty ghetto with the temporary skirting, but that works too, and that was 30 bucks. So that water has been like that since November, and we've been down in the 10 and 7 and 2s. We've had a couple of straight days where it never got above 22 or 25. It never froze. So it didn't freeze. It works. Insulation and heat tape, all you need, at least down to -7, because I've proven it down to -7. We have a nice view over here. That creek is right there, and when it's running you can hear it. Makes a nice sound. And we have all this space to ourselves back here. We're at the very back of this park, so it's always nice and comfy, quiet. Next time I'll talk a bit about jobs. There are jobs everywhere you look. Not just in Montana, but there are jobs everywhere for people who are willing to work. It may not necessarily be the jobs you want to do, but they're there. So if you really want to make a change, you can. And we are believers. We pray about it. We ask the Lord to bless us. And He has. You know, I haven't had a lack of work, and I found a great job at the post office, and when that kind of didn't work the way I expected, I found a great job at another local place that I can't say enough about. I'll say more about it later. But yeah, you know, it works. If you take the time and you put the effort in, you can do it. So far we're happy with our move, and we can deal with the cold. So this is Montana in the winter in an RV, number 2. And I'm going to sign off, and I'll talk to you guys later. Don't forget to like my video, comment, and subscribe. See ya.